Hi birdies! This is Crow, and today we're going to be doing a yaoi manga review of Secret XXX by Hinohara Meguru. Now, the title is very misleading. You can just tell by looking at it, it's super misleading. It's not something you would, find on Hub or anything. Actually, let me take that back. Parts of it you would, but in general it is not a very ultra sexy type book, so don't worry about that. Also, for those of you who don't know, fluff in writing is basically really cutesy things like holding hands and forehead kisses. A fluffle is a group of bunnies. It's the best information you could ever get. A fluffle is a group of bunnies. Anyways, so all of that's taken care of, I think. So without further ado, let's jump in. Alright, so I already said that the title of the story is Secret XXX, again, super misleading. The author is Hinohara Meguru, and Secret XXX is her debut work both in Japanese and in English. The rating for this story is M for sexy times, and it is a one-shot, so there's only the one volume, like Liquor and Cigarettes. However, there is a spin-off called Therapy Game, and it's 2 volumes. And I would highly recommend that one, though we are going to be getting into it a little bit later as well. And I'll be doing a review of that later on this year, I think. Or next year. Whatever year it is now. Later 2021. There's also a Babbitt in here. Everyone loves the Babbitt. Babbitt, are you going to show off for the camera? Let's see here. Babbitt. Babbitt-a-Babbitt. Babbitt-a-Bibbit. She's off in her own little world over there. On my pile of stuffed animals. Alright, and now I'm just going to go ahead and read the summary that's on the back of the book. Shohei loves bunnies. He loves them so much he's even taken to volunteering at a local pet shop. Store owner Mito is as sweet and kind as the fuzzy critters he cares for, and it's not long before Shohei finds himself wanting to cuddle with him as much as the bunnies. But Shohei is hiding a dangerous secret, one that makes this dream an unlikely reality. Let me just say, his dangerous secret, because you find this out within like the first 2 pages, he's allergic to rabbits. It's not a very, it's kind of dangerous, but it's not like he's in Yakuza or something. That's probably one of my biggest complaints about this book, is that it's so misleading. Anyways, I'm calm now. The back kind of says it all. It is very cutesy. It's just kind of fluff with some drama thrown in. It's a quick read. It matches the book. Like, you can see how cute. And then also, this is Mito, he's the owner of the shop, and this is Shohei, who is allergic to bunnies. As you can see, since he's not holding a rabbit. So, Shohei and Mito. Shohei is the main character. It's pretty much all told from his point of view. He's one of those people that he's got a small body but a big personality. He doesn't try to hide his emotions at all, whether he's glad, sad, mad, all of those rhyming words. And then that compared to Mito, Mito is very calm. He's very mild-mannered. He's not a boring character. He's not a... I always think, when I think of a mild-mannered character, I always think of Kurose from 10 Count. He's not like Kurose. He's got more personality than that. I will say that one of my favorite things about Mito is his expressions. His expressions are always so open and honest, even though he's a very mild and calm person. His expressions are just wonderful, and they make me so happy. They're so cute. Their relationship is really cute. The book really follows the struggles of an everyday relationship. There's not a bunch of necessarily unnecessary drama. It's pretty easy to go along with it. They do get together pretty early in the book, so that's a little bit different than what I'm used to, but it does work out really, really well. One of the great things that I love about Shohei and Mito's relationship is that it's very mature. It's not a teenage fling type thing. It is love at first sight, which is however realistic as you think it is. However, it is very mature. They have conversations whenever they have an issue, and I do especially love with the main plot point, because it's very... The book is very broken up into sections. There are different climaxes and stuff like that. And one of the main ones towards the end, it is handled in a very mature fashion by Mito. Somewhat by Shohei. Shohei's kind of immature in that aspect when it comes to arguing. However, it is very mature of them, the way that it is handled, which I really enjoy. As far as the side characters, there's two main ones. One of them being Shohei's mother. She is a very prominent character towards the end of the book, and I do think that she really adds a whole new aspect to this, especially because you don't get a whole lot of family relationships in a lot of these books. I'll get into that later. As well as Minato, who I can't say much about because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but he's my favorite character in the book. I love him. He is such a... he is, and I love him for it. He's sassy, and I just love him. That goes into some of my favorite parts. I'm going to be doing my favorites and least favorites kind of all together in this case. One of my first ones being that the conflict resolution in this is wonderful. It is very smooth. It feels semi-realistic, because that kind of goes into my least favorite, which is that the ending is perfect but not completely believable. There's nothing, it doesn't leave you wanting in the end as far as the resolution. It does, however, seem somewhat too good to be true. In the context of the story, it all works out fine, but if it were something to happen in everyday life, you would think, did that really happen? That's kind of amazing. That's kind of a miracle. And that makes it sound like someone got sick and nearly died or something. That doesn't really happen. But conflict resolution is great, not completely believable. I do think that the end of the story is pretty awesome, though. It's super fluffy. That's another one of my big favorite parts. It's very much a story that you can just curl up with and get lost in for an hour or two, and you don't have a whole lot of overwhelming emotions with it. It's one of those where you just kind of want to squeal for a little while internally. I'll go ahead and say that when I read this story, I was at work, and when I finished it, I was so happy. My coworker had gone to McDonald's, and she came back, walked in the door, and I literally jumped from the desk to the employee area, squealing about this book. E can attest to that, because I did do that, and I was so excited. I was red, I was snotty, because I get snotty when I'm excited. It was wonderful. The next favorite part is Minato, who I said is my favorite, in the family relationships in this story. Because a lot of yaoi manga, you really don't get a lot of family interaction. It's not a very clear sense of, yeah, this is my brother, and this is my mom, and we're all really close. A lot of times it is very disconnected. Or it's something like, this dark figure is my parents, and they're just telling me I can't do anything. That's not the case in this story. It kind of reminds me of Cased Heaven in a weird way, just because there is an impact of the family on the characters. And I absolutely love that. However, going into my least favorite part of that, we don't learn very much about Mito's family and his past. Now, that is forgivable just because you find out a lot more of it from a different character's perspective in Therapy Game. However, in this book, you skim the surface. You know what the story is, but you don't know a lot of the details and all of that. And I think it is kind of lacking because you learn it from a different character's point of view. In Therapy Game, you really don't get Mito's aspect on it. He does say that it doesn't really bother him that much. He's not saddened by it. I don't feel like it was done justice in this book. I would suggest reading Therapy Game, though, if you want more of that. I would recommend Therapy Game anyways. It's just a cute book, but all that aside. Warnings. There's not really any warnings in this. It's pretty much fluff and some angst, and that's really all you get in it. It doesn't have a whole lot. There's mentions of prostitution. There's mentions of suicide, but it's very much in passing, and it never actually happens with one of the characters. All in all, would I recommend this book? Yes, absolutely. It is so cute and fluffy and just makes any fangirl just go, ah, because that's what it's supposed to do, I guess. It is great if you just want to sit down with a book and just internally scream for an hour or so. And if you really like rabbits, there are rabbits everywhere, it seems like. That is all for this week. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought. What other books would you like me to review next, as well as fan fictions. Next week is going to be Coral and Bohm by Macbetha, which is a free fan fiction. So I hope you all are looking forward to that and have a wonderful new year. I'll see you in January. Bye, guys.